Welcome to Talking Masters Footy with Sue and Flea.
We are two women talking all things AFL Masters, the stories, the people, and the love of footy that doesn't stop at 35.
Round 3 is done, and that 1 week break was tough. And not just for the players, but for us too.
And today we're focusing on something that sits right at the heart of every club.
Leadership.
Yes. On the field, off the field, and everywhere in between.
Because in Masters Footy, leadership isn't just about titles.
No, indeed, it's about how people show up for each other.
So, Flea,
Yep. Let's
let's talk
talk
Masters
Masters
Footy.
footy.
So, when we talk about leadership in Masters Footy, there's a lot involved, isn't there?
Yes, look, definitely. It's not just captains, it's the people organising, encouraging, and checking in.
And helping new players, keeping the team connected.
And you really notice it, especially on game day.
It can be that quiet encouragement or someone stepping in when it's needed.
Yeah, that's leadership in a nutshell.
Now, earlier, we had a chance to sit down with a special guest.
And we spoke about leadership in women's masters footy, and what it really looks like.
So here's that conversation. So let's start. All right. So we're really excited about this next part of the show.
Yeah, because today we are joined by someone who is right in the middle of it all, on the field and in leadership.
She's the captain in the AFL. She's a captain in the AFL Vic Metro's Women's Masters competition.
And someone who's not only leading her team, but helping build that strong, inclusive culture we talk about in Masters footy.
We're really looking forward to hearing her perspective on leadership, what it looks like, what it means, and what goes on week to week.
So, welcome to the podcast from Parkside Spurs, Sarah.
Hey, thank you for inviting me. I thought there was going to be like a clapping thing, it's like,
well, there might be. Don't count that out yet.
So first up, Sarah,
yeah.
Who are you? Tell us a bit about yourself and your football journey.
My football journey started in 1991. I was in grade 5 at School of the Good Shepherd in Gladstone Park, and my grade 5 teacher, he lobbied the Catholic Education Board. Girls weren't allowed to play footy at that time, and he just kept plugging away at them until eventually they came back and said, "Okay, she can play, but there needs to be 2 other girls, and you need a few female chaperones as well." So, I took the field, and it was one of the most phenomenal years of my young life. We ended up going all the way to nationals that year. I can't remember if we won or not. We couldn't actually get a chaperone for the grand final, so I couldn't go. But
wow.
School broke up that summer, and I grew boobs. Came back ready for grade 6 and to start another year of footy, and he just took one look at me and he just shook his head. I said, "I'm so sorry." He said, "It's like, I can't.
You've turned into a girl."
Yeah. So that ended my footy career until 2018. I was having a drink at the Three Crowns, watching Bombers Pies on Anzac Day, and I went to the loo, and there was a sign on the back of the toilet door saying, women's footy players wanted, all ages, all abilities, come down. So I wrote down the address and the number, and I went back to the table and I said to the girls, like, "Hey, check this out." And one of them laughed. She said, "I dare you to rock up on that training and just be like, I'm here."
Finally, some information on the back of a toilet door that you could use.
I know, Sue. After all those years of calling those numbers, those phone numbers,
Yeah.
sorry, Flea. Sorry.
That's okay.
So I turned up down to UHS down in Parkville, and that was it. So I did a couple of years with Uni High, and then COVID hit, and then we moved to Yarraville. I'd heard about Masters Footy. I didn't know it was a thing, and so I reached out to Williamstown and to Parkside, who at the time were the VU Spurs, and then they both responded really quick, really positive about having me go down. And I actually thought that I thought it was Williamstown that I said I'd go down and play, because they were just down the road from my house. Anyway, it turns out it wasn't Willie's training. It was Parkside's.
Wow, what could have been?
It's funny, isn't it? It's like those, those one of those sliding doors moments. So yeah, and that's it. Haven't looked back. This is my 5th season with.
So how did you feel when you were first named captain, and how long ago was that? Like, how long have you been captain?
So I've been with Parkside. This is my 5th season. I was named co-captain in my 2nd year at Parkside. I was stoked. I was terrified, but I was sharing the duties with Mel Fennick, and I think there was the thing that excited me the most was that Mel she's everything that I'm not. She's like, she's on top of all the chats, and she knows what's going on with with the club, and she's just such a fantastic nurturer and a people person. And I had a little bit of that imposter syndrome, because I thought, the only thing that I love is playing football. And I love getting people up and about, and but all of the things that I didn't have, Mel was a really positive partner in that respect. So we began our journey in a good way. It was good.
Yeah, a great team by the sound of it.
Yeah, still are. She's vice this year. So
very good. So, Sarah, the big question is, what do you think leadership actually is?
What's leadership?
It's a very multifaceted thing.
Yeah, it is. It is, Sue. I think I think it's one of those things that there are the constants about leadership, and that's in being I think really clear with your values and what you stand for, and kind of living the values of the club, or your own personal values with integrity, and letting other people be exposed to that. I think that's probably the biggest constant in any moment. It's off the field, on the field, and then we only play once every 2 weeks, and there's a lot of water that passes under the bridge for for all of us. We've got lives, but complexities abound everywhere. So I think there's sometimes it's leading from from the front and setting direction and expectations, and that's on the field and off the field. Sometimes it's walking alongside the team or an individual player, and just being there as somebody that they can rest on, they can lean on, or get a bit of juice from. And then other times it's standing behind them and just giving them everything you've got, and they can just propel their own way forward. And that changes all the time.
It does.
Yeah.
it's not a dictatorship, is it? You know, being a good leader. It's not telling everybody what to do.
No.
Kind of working out what everybody needs and then working with that.
That's exactly right. Exactly
Yeah.
right. Actually, I think the biggest part of being a leader is doing more listening than talking. We've got a really, really strong leadership group down at the Spurs, all levels of ability on the field, but also off the field, and that mix of people, um, you know, they need to be heard and given a voice. I think
Yeah.
that's the exciting thing about the Spurs. We've got we fill each other's gaps really, really well, and it as a captain, I can't carry the load, and just even as a as a human being with a life outside of football, I'm not that great on the admin side of things. So yeah, we've got a good mix, and I think that mix needs its own space to kind of shine through.
Mm. Look, I was going to ask you, how do you particularly support players in your team? But I feel like you kind of answered that already.
Mm.
Do you agree, Sue?
Yeah. So can you think of like an example where you've had to support one of your team members that's not actually got to anything to do with football? Like, is that part of your
Yeah,
leadership job?
that's a good question. Not necessarily about your players.
Yeah, yeah. Um, of course, we're. I've got a lot of good. I've got a lot of good friendships in the team. We've been there a while, and as we get older, we kind of, you know, we bond over aches, pains, deaths,
Yeah.
births. You know,
Marriages, divorces.
the whole lot, the whole lot. We've got grandkids, kids. Um,
Yeah.
Recently, there was we've had a player who, um, something came up for her, quite suddenly, um, and she didn't tell me about it, but her partner pulled me aside and told me about it. Um, so I made a point of giving the player a call the next time. I'm a big phone caller. I'm shit with text. That's just shit all this fucking backwards and forwards. So I was
Yeah.
just like, hey, got time for a chat? Um, and we're on the phone for
Yeah.
ages. So I
Yeah.
think there's I'm in a situation where, Sue and I were having a bit of a laugh the other night when we were trying to book time for this call, and you, Flea, and you got a social life that my 20-year-old self would envy, but I got kids, so my life it's a bit different. I spend a lot of that time kind of thinking, if I didn't have kids, who would I be spending my time with? And this person is definitely, she's definitely one of those people. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not a job that stops, and I think that that's an age thing. Um, I don't know. I can't speak for for the younger ranks, but we're on
Yeah.
a different journey in masters. That's
Yeah.
we're at a different phase in our life, and I think off the field far surpasses anything that happens on the field. So it's good
Yeah.
to be there for people.
Yeah.
So we kind of
Do you
looked
want
at what makes a good leader. So in your mind,
Mm,
so you talked about Mel and the properties she bought.
mm.
What properties do you feel that you bring to the leadership role?
Probably, probably I think one of the things, probably my vulnerability, actually, because I don't profess to know. I'm not anywhere near the best footballer in our leadership group, and nowhere near the best footballer in our team. But I've got a natural curiosity, and I love seeing the way that people bring their bring their style or their philosophy or their ethic or their integrity to the game. And I think I encourage that. I don't really see ability. I just see possibility, and I try to let that shine through. I bring joy. I play. I play with joy. Flea, that bump that you saw on Saturday afternoon. That's probably one of the few moments where maybe joy might have just gotten parked for a second, but I love having a laugh out there because football is fun. It's
emotional.
It is.
Yeah.
And
it should be fun. I mean, that's what the Masters logo is football for fun. And quite frankly, if you're not having fun out there, what are you doing?
Yeah, well, I think there's Masters has changed. Masters has changed significantly, even in the short time that I've been playing. I think there's we've got a different level of competition now with Div 1 and Div 2 coming into Metro. So it's created a new I think a new sense of competition and urgency that probably hasn't been addressed at a high up level about the impact that would have on the league. So I think things have shifted and games evolve, which is great because you want it to keep evolving. But I think it needs to maintain something for everybody. And I think that will be an interesting journey to watch for Masters over the next couple of years as that competition starts to kind of cement itself. And I think we're 6 and 6 in time. That's just going to keep growing, which is amazing. That's what you want. But...
and so this is sort of slightly digressing, but also topical because, Sue and I were talking this afternoon, and I was saying, standing on the sidelines yesterday, competing in a non-contact competition that's actually a competition now. We've played up until now. It's literally been for fun, and often we're just playing each other. 5-a-side or 4-a-side, 6-a-side.
Yeah.
And it literally took 5 minutes into that game for my competitive spirit to appear.
Yeah.
To the point where with the 2 minutes to go, well, I thought we had 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And I was getting a bit yelly on the sidelines, and I thought, well, I don't need to go to the loo, but I'm going to go because I have to take myself out for a minute. But I didn't have the timing quite right, so I went to the loo.
Yeah.
Sat there for a minute, did about a teaspoon, came out again, and the game was over. And I went, oh, it's finished and we won.
Yeah.
I wanted to record it and I didn't get it. So
yeah, it was
it literally,
It's just that added little thing of now we're going to keep score. Just shift the dial, just a touch.
Yeah. And and speaking of good leaders, and this is where I'm going to pump you up here, Sue, because yesterday emotions were getting high, and the female umpire, it was her first game, and and as Sue sort of mentioned to her afterwards, you'll get this as you go along, to take a bit of control of the game because you are the umpire. When you blow the whistle, blow it and speak like you mean it, because she wasn't being heard and was a little bit unsure.
Yeah.
And so, the players were getting, their emotions were sort of running high when things weren't going according to the rules that we've been playing for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And, Sue was the one that was very good at saying, calm down. She's new. It's her first game. We don't want to be the team that makes her think she can't do it.
Yeah.
So everybody just, and then Sue went and had a talk to both the umpires afterwards.
Yeah.
And, it was all good, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's leadership to me as well.
100%.
Thanks.
So you're welcome, Sue. Cyril, what's the hardest part? We've talked about the good. What do you find the hardest thing to do?
I think the hardest thing is to um, find ways through difficult situations, and that's having respectful language and trying to help it be outcome focused. We're dealing, we're a cohort of super smart women who they're all completely switched on, but it's how do we channel that into a way that is productive, and it's not about whether you drop the ball or not. It's the choices that you make after that. I think that's one of my biggest challenges. I also struggle with I don't want to say aggression on the field, but that kind of fine line between being competitive and then everything that exists above that. It unsettles me, and I see the impact that has on the team as well.
Has that been a hard lesson for you, like to temper that and find the correct balance?
Yeah, but that's over a lifetime, Flea, of sports,
long
both
time.
isolating sports like tennis, all the way through to to team sports with footy. Now there's that control and mastery of the beast that sits inside. That's I'll probably take that with me to the grave. That constant learning, but to help others channel that into something that kind of brings them back to who they are. That I think that's something that is quite difficult as well. People bring a lot of they're bringing baggage onto the field. We bring it to training. It's how do you park that and or channel it and get back to just enjoying yourself and having a good time.
Absolutely. So looking at women's sport in general, and we're going to run out of time, but we'll try and get through this bit. Why do you think it's important to have women in leadership roles?
I think I think women are just purely diversity of approach. We've got we're a non-binary society, and there are so many variables, and we need to if we want to keep evolving as a sport, as a society, then there needs to be that balance of opinion. Just because you don't like what somebody says, or could be their politics or their religion, it needs to be heard. Women bring a really, I'm not going to say it's a unique perspective, but it's different. We've had to fight for where we are, and that's, I think, created its own sense of place that demands attention.
Yep, and if we don't, it's the old adage, if you can't see it, you can't be it. So it takes those pioneer women, especially in a male dominated sport, to get up there and go, hey, this is what we can do.
Absolutely. There's as women, I think masters footy and women's footy just more broadly, it's still a movement. It's still in its infancy. It's still finding its feet, and
absolutely.
we need to just keep remembering that we're not footballers, we're people who are playing football. And there is
Yep.
more that unites us than divides us. And I don't, if there's anything that I try to keep coming back to with Parkside, with the team, it's that, you take the field, but just remember, we're all in this together. We're growing something super, super fucking cool here. Let's just, keep going and make it enjoyable. Let spectators be standing on the sides, whether they're kids or, partners or friends or whatever. Let them want to be a part of it, whether they're helping or whether they want to play or, we're ambassadors all the time. And that shouldn't be forgotten. So,
what makes you feel proud?
When we walk off, we've got in our club song, we've got a couple of lines that say, we will never surrender, we'll fight until the end. And I feel most proud when we've finished a game and the scoreboard doesn't matter. It's that we kept going all the way to the end. And when your body can't do it anymore, the heart just takes over as much as it can. Your heart will never replace your tight groin or, fucked hips or whatever. But it just, you just keep going. And that's what makes me proud. Seeing, my teammates pick up a member of the opposition from the ground, that's the stuff I love.
Cool.
That's where the buzz is. I like a win too.
Okay.
Yeah. Pride, but
the wins are nice, but but at the end of the day, I think, in 10 years' time, it won't be remembering winning games. It'll be remembering the feelings that you had when you played footy with your mates. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we've just about run out of time, Flea.
Am I going to get my questions in, Sue?
Oh, yeah. Go for it. Oh,
great.
You better hurry up because we'll run out of time.
All right.
Go.
Sarah, this is called FFF, Flea's Fun 5.
Yeah.
Right. What did you want to be when you were 10 years old?
A journo for Time magazine.
Awesome. What's one thing your teammates don't know about you?
I'm ultimately an introvert.
Oh,
right. Oh, see, we all laugh.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, random question. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
100 ducks.
100 duck-sized horses?
Yeah.
Or 1 horse-sized duck?
Yeah, 100 duck-sized horses. I just got visions of just kicking them all over the place.
Yeah. All going quack, quack, quack with moves. What's your favourite karaoke song?
Probably, I don't know. I've got so many. Probably Robbie Williams.
Yep.
A lot of Robbie Williams songs. Let me entertain you.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. What's your game day canteen must-have go-to?
Oh, 3 dimmies in a buttered roll with soy sauce.
Oh, you're the one that told me that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I told someone that and they go, oh, bullshit, that's not a thing. I said, no, someone said it to me.
Yeah.
You, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And we'll put there. So that was Sarah. We would really like to thank her for coming on and sharing her story.
Yeah, some really strong insights into leadership.
And we spoke to a few other leaders across the competition. Okay, hi, I'm here talking with
Crispy
from
Wyndham Masters, so the old Werribee team.
Fantastic. So, Crispy, what do you think leadership means in women's football?
It can come across as a different word for a lot of different things. Leadership can be on the field, off the field, a bit of a variety. Someone that's prepared to go behind the scenes, do that extra bit of slogging work to make sure that their team's up and running for that day, but then also take leadership out on the field for helping and develop the people that are new to the club or new to the game itself. So for me, leadership is someone that's prepared to put their hand up and help people that haven't really been around the game or around the sport for a long period of time, and just show them what they've learned over the years that they've been a part of it, and get them on board, show them that love. Even you don't have to have skill to be able to play, but with decent leadership behind someone, it's going to allow someone the ability to want to come back and continue to play this lovely sport.
Yeah, it's kind of drawing people in, isn't it? And making sure that they feel included.
And that's what it's about. At the end of the day, it's not about 4 points at the end of the day, on a game day. It's about, who stood up and who did better than what they did last week or the week before. And each day it's an achievement just moving forward. And for us in Masters, it's an achievement of waking up on a Monday and not feeling too sore. So if leadership out there can just continue to bring women back to this sport, then we'll go a long way.
Fantastic. Thanks, Crispy.
No worries.
Now?
And we're on. So, hi, can you tell me your name?
Hi, I'm Brigid. I am a player with Darebin Falcons, and we're here at AH Cup today. So very happy to have our first hosting game of 2026.
Right, so Bridge, we're looking at leadership in sport this week. So what do you think leadership means in women's football?
Yeah, I think when I first came to Darebin, I was really struck by how the club allows people to go out and hold space and lead. And particularly the first year, after the first year, another player and I realised that the league was kind of crumbling a bit. They were going through a lot of troubles. They were under receivership and things were not going great. So the two of us stood up and said, "Oh, what if we as players brought ourselves together to help in that?" And I think if it wasn't for the fact that the club allowed us to show that leadership, the club said, "Yes, you have our backing, and we're here for you as a sounding board if you need it." So yeah, from that, the two players were able to get out there and talk to all the players, build in all the ideas, talk through what it was that we wanted to create for that year, which was I think 2019, 2020. It was a really long time ago now. And so when I'm thinking about how much fun it was to stand up in front of people and say, are these our ideas? Is this what we all agree in? And I think for women's footy, that has definitely been something that Darebin have done so well, is to stand up and say, are these our ideas? Is this what we want? And people to come along with that.
Yeah, and from that, there still is a women's subcommittee that help feed ideas into the board of how women want to play footy. So, well done.
Yeah.
So, we have got Kirsty from Eastern Warriors and
Sandra from Eastern Warriors.
And they are the co-captains this year. So, girls, what do you think leadership means in a football team?
I think leadership means in a football team is to encourage everybody to come down and enjoy themselves and to feel like it's a good place to be and to feel included and to have a go at things. And I think to encourage people to do that is what I think leadership is. What about you, Sandra?
I agree with everything you're saying, Kirsty. I think just setting an example for everybody else, turning up to every single training session, making sure that you're doing your best the whole way through, encouraging everybody, welcoming new people, being respectful of people that know a lot more than you do, learning new things every week, not being afraid to make mistakes and not having an issue with anybody else that's doing their best out there and joining in. So it's a great thing to be a part of.
It is, and they've got a great coach, and it's
We have an amazing coach.
important to listen to the coach.
Teaching us a lot.
Yes.
A lot more than we do.
All right, thanks, girls.
Thanks, Sue.
Yeah, so that was about getting their take on what leadership looks like to them. I love hearing their different perspectives, actually, and we have one more bonus interview.
Yes, we do. Flea reached out to Li Li Salerno, who's now living and playing footy in Tasmania, but is a Vic Metro OG.
Li Li was an inaugural Werribee, now Wyndham, Women's Masters player and co-captain in 2018. In 2019, she was inducted into the All-Australian Masters team at National Carnival, also coming runner-up in the Carnival BNF. In 2021, she then backed it up, making the All-Australian team, playing with Tasmania. That was the year she moved to Tasmania and has helped with the development of women's Masters footy there. Let's see what Li Li has to say about leadership in women's footy.
Good morning, guys, and thanks for having me on your show. What a great initiative, and I'm actually honoured that you've invited me to participate. So thank you so much. So you've asked me a few questions, and I'll try and answer them for you. Describe your leadership style. Well, for me, it's empowerment. It's about getting the best out of people by helping them to develop their confidence and fostering their abilities. We've all got such diverse backgrounds, so understanding our players and their strengths is key to getting greater performance and then harnessing that belief in themselves. With this, they can focus on the areas that they need or would like to develop, and it grows their confidence. I love to teach and impart knowledge, and it's beautiful and inspiring to watch a person that has never played football before to train and play with a smile on their face and then come back for more. Your next question you've asked, who inspires me as a leader in the women's footy space? So for me, Debbie Lee, Kerry Saunders and Susan Alberti, not in any particular order, have to be at the top of my list for women who inspire me in the work that they do and the support and leadership that they provide to women playing footy. Debbie has broken some incredible barriers to get women to where we are today. I met her about 18 years ago when I first started playing women's football for St Albans Spurs. This girl could play footy, but she was also so much fun to be around and never seemed to back down from a challenge. I love a powerful woman who is not afraid to fight the good fight. Kerry Saunders, a big loss to Victoria now that she's moved to Queensland, but she's an incredible sportswoman who is exceptional at football and, dare I say it, cricket. And she has a very clever football brain, both playing and coaching. I remember being inspired by her when I played against her when she was playing for St Kilda Sharks. And I remember thinking, wow, how old is this woman still playing footy? And how good is she? I want to be just like her. I reached out to her when I was looking at a coach for the Werribee team. She had no idea who I was, just some random that was messaging her out of the blue. But anyway, I thought I'd try my luck, and to my surprise, she agreed to be our coach. So how lucky were we? My proudest achievement is another question that you've asked. And I've got to say, assisting Jill Chalmers to get Vic Metro Women's Masters competition is probably one of my proudest achievements. But then to back that up by raising the team at Werribee Masters was incredibly fulfilling. Thankfully, I had the genuine support of two wonderful men at Werribee, John Crennan, who sadly is no longer with us, and Brett Cook. These two men not only said they supported women playing footy, but they actually backed it up in their actions. They let me take over the football club. They allowed me the freedom to do what I needed to do to get women to the club, printing flyers, making banners, attending festivals and handing out these flyers, doing newspaper articles, photographers, journalists, you name it. And then creating an inclusive atmosphere where women were genuinely appreciated and made to feel part of the club. John went on to become our team manager and attended every women's game, clipboard in hand, as I'm sure many people will remember. It was a trademark of his. And you can only imagine the pride he felt when we won the inaugural unofficial final. Of course, having Kerry Saunders as our coach contributed to the success of the club, not just on the field, but off field as well. She was a work smarter, not harder kind of coach that inspired us all, especially when she put on the jumper and played. And then getting Tassie back to the National Carnival in 2022 was also a memorable highlight. To think that this year Tassie might actually have 3 teams is truly exciting. Whilst I persevered with AFL Tasmania for several years to try and raise a women's comp, I think I planted the seed, but I can't actually take the credit for establishing the competition. This was done by Angela Sunners, who did an amazing job in working with AFL Tasmania to get this up and running after she was inspired by participating at the National Carnival. Great work, Ange. And the final question you've asked is, do you think it's any easier today working across the divides in a male-dominated sport? I think whilst women have come a long way over the last 18 years that I've been involved in footy, there is still some work to be done. Unfortunately, there are still some challenges to overcome in what is still a male-dominated sport. What I do love, though, is that girls and women now have a complete pathway to fulfil playing the sport that they love. From Auskick to Masters and national representation in between if they so desire, football for women is here to stay. Thanks, guys. It's been absolutely awesome being able to contribute to your podcast. I think you're doing some amazing work, and I look forward to maybe chatting again with you soon. Cheers. Bye for now.
And we'll
Yeah, and I'm just going to add a couple of things
Okay.
that. So since we did the recording, I've been on the phone a little bit to Li Li, and one other thing I did ask her was actually how many games she's played in total. So at this point, she's actually played 180 plus games.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, absolutely impressive. She's attended 10 national carnivals and she's represented Tasmania at 6 as well. So, I mean, those of you that know Li Li know she's been pivotal, really, in women's footy, going back to working with Jill Masters, Jill Masters.
You duffer. Jill Chalmers.
Jill Chalmers, yeah, helping to get the competition off the ground.
So thanks, Li Li, for your great answers. And so whilst all our guests had slightly different takes on leadership, there are definitely some constants. Your train of thought.
Sorry. That's right. Support, encouragement and showing up for your team seem to be the core values.
So after all that heaviness, let's go round the grounds for wrap-up of round 3.
And another big Saturday of footy.
So first up, we have Footy Rush, hosted by Darebin and Falcons at AHCAP, or as my phone direction findery thingy, very technical, aren't I, likes to say, CAP, reserve in Preston. Game 1, we had Parkside Spurs, 9 goals, 660, and Eastern Warriors, 12 goals, 375.
Game 2 of Footy Rush was Carrum Cowgirls. Cannot get my head around that. 13-12-90 to Brunswick Mudlarks 4-6-30, and with Williamstown having the bye.
So I was going to talk to who played well, who kicked goals, but then decided that's not what's important in our Footy Rush non-contact program. What is important is that we're providing an option for players to play footy in a safe space. Getting the rules in our heads is definitely a work in progress. What we all need to remember is that we're playing a non-contact game. Kate from Mudlarks has a great definition of what that means. And her definition is the aim is to control and positioning, not collision. If you're not in a position to win the ball cleanly, don't reach in, block or make contact. React to your opponent's next move and tag them. Intercept when it's safe and there's clean space. So I believe that when we take the contact element out of the game, it becomes a game of skill. We want everyone, regardless of experience, to feel safe to go for the ball.
And so to the contact games. First up, Division 1 results. So Game 1, also played at CAP Reserve, was Parkside Spurs 3-2-20 were defeated by Carrum Cowgirls 4-6-30. With apologies to Carrum for not getting Cowgirls ever right. Parkside's best were Kirsten Pocock, Emma Meisner, Kate Nicholson, Sarah Carnovale and Ida Candelone. Goals, all with one each, were Mel Fennick, Sarah Carnovale and Laura Newton. Karam's best were Natalie Belcher, Jessica Boyd, Louise Deavy and Jen Li. Goals were Nikki Chero, Janet Sullivan, Laura Murphy and Louise Deavy, all with one goal each. So, wow, what a tight tussle that was, with only 2 points in it up until the last 5 minutes or so. Unfortunately, marred by a bit of an emotional spillover or two, with players being sent off to cool down. However, some excellent passages of play by both teams, and that's what we love to see in Masters footy.
So game 2 was at Saddle Reserve in Dingley, hosted by Maudie Alec, who were forced off their home ground due to some mindless vandals. Idiots. Maudie Alec, the host team, 7 goals, 11-53, defeated Williamstown, 2 points. So Maudie Alec goals, Jill Chalmers, who we were talking about before, kicked 3, and 1 each to Amy Newman, Trudy Miller, Georgina Lee and Naomi Brisbane. Maudie Alec came out strong in the first half, leading 42-0 at half-time. In true Masters footy style, Williamstown did not give up and managed to shut down the attack, allowing only 1 goal through for the second half.
Wow, that's great defence. Game 3, also at Salter Reserve. Port Melbourne 10-11-71 defeated Box Hill North 2-14. Port Melbourne goals, Amy McCormack with an impressive 7 and 1 goal each to Tori Pettit, Megan Bryden and a private player. Box Hill North goals, 1 each to Mitch Krupi and a private player. A strong performance by Port Melbourne, who kept Box Hill North scoreless in the first half. But to Box Hill North's credit, they came out after halftime to get their score on the board and slow down the scoring by Port Melbourne.
And so we move on to Division 2. So game 1 was played at AH Cap Reserve. We had Sunbury Lions, 3 goals 4-22, defeated by Wyndham, 14 goals 8-92. Sunbury best, Maria Camilleri, Lisa Vandenherk, Jessica Rodino, Zoe Shepherd and Kim Crook. Goals to Pauline Hutchins, Lisa Vandenherk and Kelly Caruana, who all kicked a goal. Wyndham best, Jacinta Brew, Natasha Hare, Kayleen Hart, Linda Moren and Bianca Hendricks. And goals to Linda Moren with 5, Paula Bunting 3, Tara Crisp 3, Jacinta Brew 2 and Ella Rosenboom with 1. In what was a strong win to Wyndham, Sunbury made history and kicked their first goals in the competition. They actually won the second quarter as well. But having no bench paid a toll and Wyndham took back control in the second half.
Okay, game 2 was at Suter Reserve. Northside Lions 4-1-25 were defeated by Peninsula 7-7-49. Northside's best were Amanda Brown, Rosie Busittle, Maria Napoli, Taylor Smith and Layla Pawley. Goals to Rosie Busittle, Freya Logan, Jacinta Tass and private player, all with 1 goal. Peninsula's best were Beth Storr, Danielle Grant, Amanda Davidson, Eliza Bulky and Emma Ince. Goals to Kath Rees, Eliza Bulk, Amanda Davidson, Talia Benson and Danielle Grant, all with 1, and Erin Farnback with 2.
And the final game of Division 2 at AH Cap Reserve was Darebin, no score, defeated by Brunswick Mudlarks. A lot of score, 28-11, 179. Darebin's best players, who I'm sure tried their darndest, were Laura McCallum, Ariana Grant Bragg and Chloe Persing. Brunswick best, Nina Nand, Lani Verde, Amy Collins, Nadine Lampard. Goals, 1 each to Kate Francis, Peter Price, Milanka Visa and Rena Nand. 2 goals for Kira Verde, 3 to Lani Verde. Amy Collins kicked 5, and a very, very impressive 10-goal bag to Nadine Lampard, aka Lampy, as we learnt last week. An impressive win to the Mudlarks, who've kept their opposition scoreless for the 3rd game in the row.
Okay, so thanks to our host clubs, Darebin Falcons and Morty Alec.
So, Flea, your moment of the round.
I'm going with our girls getting to sing their song in the car park.
Our girls being?
Sorry, Eastern Warriors girls. Getting to sing the song with probably nobody knowing the words, but it's the Tigers theme song. So we get to yell yellow and black very loudly near the end. Was sung with a lot of gusto. And to probably H, our player H, Helen Tooten, playing her socks off and getting some, goals.
Yeah, she got 3.
Yeah.
Fantastic. It was fun. I'm going to have to go with Sunbury hitting the scoreboard. Their first point was celebrated hard, but their first goal was so exciting. So well done to all the players at Sunbury.
So some milestone moments. And now for one of the highlights of the week.
So, which Flea already took the glory and said milestone moments. That's all right. So, now we were at the games at Darebin, so we've potentially missed anything that may have happened at the other ground.
First up was Nicole Brown from Sunbury. Now, we were a bit slow here, but luckily her hubby videoed her running through the banner for her 50th game.
Flea had a quick chat with Kira from Mudlarks about hitting the 50-game milestone.
Hey, this is Kira. Kira, tell us what is special about today.
Today's my 50th game.
Yay.
So it's a bit exciting.
Yeah, awesome. Who have you got with you?
This is my daughter, Jackson.
Hey, Jackson.
Hello. And this is Teo.
Hey, Teo.
Say hi.
What are you guys going to do today when Mum runs through the banner?
Remember?
We're going to hold her hand and we're going to run into the banner together.
Yay. Everyone's going to be...
At the same time.
Yeah. Everyone's going to be clapping and cheering.
Yeah.
Yay. So, 50 games with one club, Kira?
No, so I've just come over from Parkside Spurs. So I played majority of my games with Parkside, but this year I've joined the Brunswick Mudlarks.
Yeah.
So I'll be playing my 50th game with them.
Awesome. And who are you playing today?
We are playing Darebin.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very exciting. And can I say congratulations?
Thank you. And I've got one fun fact.
Yeah, tell.
This ground is actually the very first ground I ever played on.
Awesome.
So it's my first ground I played on. Now it's my 50th game here. So
excellent. And where do we find you on the field?
You'll find me in the fullback.
In the fullback. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, what do we got to say to Mum today, kids? Congratulations.
Happy.
You say,
well done.
Say? It's my 50th game.
Happy at the 50th game.
Excellent. All right. Thank you. Enjoy running through the banner.
I will.
So looking ahead to round 4 and a very welcome 2-week break. Footy Rush, all teams head down to Mornington for the 2026 Indigenous round. Arrive at 8:30 for an 8:45 group warm-up and a 9 a.m. game time. Game 1 is Brunswick versus Williamstown. Game 2 is Carrum versus Eastern Warriors. Parkside having the bye. Then,
where did I write it down? What's in that other folder? Where did I write? Okay, so at Auden Reserve in Wyndham are hosting, and they're hosting Indigenous Round and have some festivities happening. So check out their Facebook page to find out more. Game 1, Division 1, Parkside versus Port Melbourne at 10:15. Game 2 is Division 2, Sunbury versus Darebin at 12:15. And Game 3 is also Division 2, and we've got Wyndham versus Northside at 2:15.
Then back at Mornington, where Peninsula are hosting, Game 1, Div 1 is Williamstown v Box Hill North. You got the times?
Yeah, 10:15.
10:15. Game 2, Div 1, Mordialloc v Carrum is
12:15.
12:15. And Game 3, Div 2, Peninsula versus Mudlarks at 2:15. 15, correct.
Well, that's a wrap on a massive episode.
And before you go any further, Sue.
Yeah.
This is your life.
What?
This is your life. Remember that show? This is your life?
I do remember This Is Your Life.
I haven't brought any, I don't have any guests from your past that you may or may not want to see.
Thank God.
However, I've got some questions for you, as this is leadership round and you are a leader, my friend.
Okay.
5 questions.
Okay.
So you get FFF this week.
Okay.
Please, 5. Okay. What is a hidden leadership skill or trait that you believe is essential to leading in women's sports today?
I think it is the ability to not think about yourself and promote everybody else. That's my leadership style. It's not about me. I get sick of hearing my own voice. I would rather hear everybody else's voice.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good hidden leadership skill, because traditionally people will come up with, generic terms like inspiring resilience or, things like that. So that's a good hidden trait, because it's something that you personally try to, instill, I guess. What's one piece of advice you were not given that you wish you were, and what's the best piece of advice you would pass on today?
Oh, my Lord. You know what? I reckon that I wish that I had been encouraged when I was younger to try and find my way into football. I kind of did try a little bit, but through the men's route, like, become a trainer or, something like that. And so I wish somebody had said to me, hey, Sue, look what's happening in suburban Melbourne and try and get involved in that instead. And what was the second part of the question?
Oh, what's the best piece of advice you would pass on today based around that question?
Absolutely. So my best piece of advice would be, if you want to do something, just have a go and do it.
Yeah. As many, many, many women in this competition have found out.
Yes.
Yeah, no regrets. Who inspires you, or what inspired you to be a leader in women's sport?
I guess I've always been involved in sport. So I'm probably going to go with my dad.
I knew you'd say that.
When we were growing up, was always involved in whatever sport we did. So he had 3 daughters, and we were all quite sporty. And Dad would end up becoming the president of the football club where we played netball at. He would coach softball. He'd be president of the softball club, so that, he was involved in what we were doing. And so that has definitely kind of been a path that I've followed. I was quite involved in my kids' sport, and now I'm very involved in my sport because it's all about me.
Excellent. I found a little saying, and I'm going to read it out. So, a woman with a voice is by definition a strong woman, but the search to find that voice can be remarkably difficult. Have you, or do you, experience that? Like, so have you experienced that, or do you experience that? And how did you overcome it, or ever felt a bit of imposter syndrome?
Well, you've hit the nail on the head. It's that imposter syndrome. I think as women, we like to do things well. So if we don't think we can do something perfectly, we don't often try. It might be that you think you're not good enough to be a coach, but you never know until you have a go. Or that people don't want to hear your opinion. Just tell them anyway. And, I've forgotten the question, but hey.
Oh, I mean, the question was, so basically the saying is that the search to find your voice can be incredibly difficult.
Yes.
Have you experienced that along the way? Yeah.
Good. Yeah, let me go to that because this podcast is a perfect example. So this has been in my head for ages to do this. And I had a couple of difficult years with some illness and then Dad passing away and, everything sort of got put in the back burner. And at sort of the end of last year, I went, you know what, I've always wanted to do it. If I don't do it now, it's never going to happen. So it's happening.
It is indeed. And one last question. What's the one thing that your teammates do not know about you?
My teammates do not know about me. I'm a bit of a sharer, so this could be a tricky one.
You mean we know everything there is to know?
Oh, God, probably.
I could think of something you did tell me once, but I'm going to see if you...
God, now you're making me scared.
Yeah.
One thing that people don't know, probably a lot of people don't know that I did belly dancing for a long time. So I can belly dance with the best of them. And other things, I don't know. Flea, what have you got in mind that I...
It's to do with putting people in a deep state.
Oh, yeah, and I can do hypnosis as well. Not the showy stuff, the relaxation stuff.
Yeah. I do remember you telling me that once, that
I
you did study hypnotherapy.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's it. There you go.
Okay, thanks, Flea. Well, that was most unexpected. And even though a vague memory that she told me she was going to do it. So that's a wrap on a very massive episode.
Yeah, another great round of footy and some very important views on what leadership is.
So this podcast is about the Masters football community.
And we love sharing your stories, so don't forget to send us yours. The email is talkingmastersfooty@gmail.com or hit us up on the socials.
Until next time.
Look after your body.
Enjoy the footy.
Footy for fun. And we're
just getting started. Oh, my God.